Hi there, I'm Jodi Carlton, and I'm a neurodiverse relationship expert. Now, a lot of you who are neurodivergent struggle with executive functioning. And if you don't know what that is, go on over to my blog, jodicarlton.com/blog, where you can search my YouTube channel, Jodi Carlton, to find my videos and articles about that. I'm also ADHD, and I have an autistic daughter and ADHD son. So we're all neurodivergent, and we all have different kinds of executive dysfunction. So today I'm going to tell you strategies that we use personally in our home to help combat some of the difficulties that can be caused by executive dysfunction. One of the difficulties with executive dysfunction is getting household chores done. Now, we have several cats in our household, so I keep litter boxes on all the floors of the house. And I also keep the supplies to clean up after them in those spaces. I also keep other supplies like vacuum cleaners and other cleaning supplies in all the different bathrooms so I don't have to go find those supplies. It's so much easier for me to clean up a space really quickly if the supplies are right there. Now, another thing I do is automate. I try to automate as much as possible. So I have my bills set up to be automatically paid. Anything that keeps me from having to think about something or do it myself helps give my brain less to do. I also use these little plugs right here. They're programmable. There's an app on my phone. They're all over my house. So they turn the lights on, they turn the lights off throughout the house. And I know that sounds like something very small, but it's one less thing to have to think about and have to do. And you can program them for other types of appliances, not just lights. Another strategy when it comes to schedules and programming is to use an agenda or a digital app or calendar. Some people really prefer to write things down and be able to hold an agenda in their hand. I'm more of a digital kind of person. So I put everything on my calendar the minute I know that it's happening. I also have project management software that helps me with work. Those types of calendar apps can help remind you when things need to be done. And if you use a manual agenda, it's something you want to look at every single day. In your relationship, you want to be sure to schedule regular check ins. Sometimes that can be at mornings over coffee. For some of my clients, I recommend that they check in on Sundays or Saturdays, whatever day they're both available at dinner or lunch, whatever works for your schedule. But you want to make that part of your routine. And you want to use services like grocery delivery, shopping, Amazon to reduce the amount of time you have to spend going to a store because then that takes the load off of you to get those things done. So something you want to really try to do is reduce clutter in your environment. And that can be physical clutter, so you want to minimize the stuff you have, but also things like light, what I call light clutter or sound clutter. So if there are sounds that are just constantly running in the background, or if lights are too bright, you want to make sure that your brain is not struggling if those things are interfering with your thoughts. Now, sometimes I sit right here where these two little cuties are in work, but light from that window right there is way too bright for me. So I keep that curtain closed sometimes because the light really causes me difficulty and actually interferes with my thought process. You also want to have designated spaces, what I call hotspot spaces, where we all have mail and things that we don't really want to put away right then. And so we need to have a designated space where we can put that stuff. This is my designated hotspot space in my kitchen. Now, spaces like that might also include your personal spaces. So you might have certain rooms or certain parts of a room that are designated for each person to have their hotspots. In relationships, like some people have their office space or your own separate bedrooms. And so you want to designate that space to be where you can have your own clutter or sections for clutter where it doesn't interfere with other people in the household. And you also want to think about outsourcing to people like landscapers, people to mow the lawn, your pest control, those kinds of things. I know for me, it was a little painful because it's expensive, but I had to realize that it was an essential part of my budget to take all of those tasks off of my plate. Make sure you're not outsourcing to your partner. Even things like, have you seen my keys? Or do you know where the ketchup is in the fridge? Is basically shifting the mental load onto someone else when it's really your own responsibility. And lastly, you have to focus on quality sleep, whether that's changing the bedding, the temperature in the room, the mattress. Getting sleep is imperative.